So, on some forums, some social media forums, I've seen the question come up a few times now about arthritis specifically. How to treat arthritis, and are there solutions for arthritis? I That's probably one of the biggest questions out there because arthritis for people that have a lot of joint issues over the course of their life is a word they hear so quickly and it comes up. But I think it's kind of been more important to get a little context to what arthritis is. So, first of all, there's 100 types of arthritis, which most people don't even know. We're aware of the two primary versions of arthritis, which is osteoarthritis and rheumatism arthritis. Osteoarthritis is the one most people have that deal with joint damage that we are aware of. Rheumatism is more of an autoimmune type of arthritis and comes from a different method of inheritance. And that'll be a conversation for a different time. But ultimately, arthritis is something, it's a fancy word for the general degeneration of all of the would be healthy cartilage in the knee. It's as the cartilage that encapsulates the bones in the knee break down. That degenerative process is essentially referred to as arthritis, or osteoarthritis in particular for that version. And as far as treatments go, there's a million treatments. I like to focus on some of the more healthy naturopathic treatments. Disclaimer, I am not a doctor. This is not medical advice. I am simply telling you my opinion on what has worked well for me. But since I've seen that question online several times, I thought it was worth answering. So, some minimally invasive medical treatments for arthritis. A big one is steroid injections. So they can, doctors that are pain management specialists or orthopedic specialists can do targeted steroidal injections in joints in particular. And what that does is it gets rid of the inflammatory storm going on in the joint, which is causing the pain. Because be mindful that the degeneration itself isn't where the pain is coming from. The pain is coming from the degeneration and then your body trying to solve that degeneration with its natural immune metabolic responses going to that part of your body, trying to fix it. The problem is when you have severe degeneration, too many resources are pushed towards that end, trying to fix a problem. And then those fixes often are cytokines referred to in the body. They all converge on a spot and then they end up clashing with one another, and there's also too much of it and it causes a whole opposite effect, and that's where you get swelling and inflammation, and that's where a lot of the pain stems from, is the reaction, not necessarily the damage itself, but the body's response to the damage. So it's mindful to think about that. So steroid shots help get rid of that cytokine storm, the inflammation going on, which can provide quite a bit of relief. As far as in my research has gone, the effectiousness of steroid shots are really hit or miss. Some people have great success and will get an injection and it'll last them 3 to 6 months, if not longer, and they feel quite a bit better. There are some people that get those shots and get no relief at all. I'm someone that has had them and I kind of fall in the middle. They actually didn't help my knees at all. They actually made my knees feel worse. And it was kind of a weird situation where the injection actually responded weird to my knees, and it almost felt like something was crackling or crunching in my knees for a while after the injections. But my spine has responded pretty well to steroid injections. I get epidural steroid injections in my spine, and I'll get a couple months of relief out of that. It's been dissipating the more I've had. I also try not to get too far down the road with having too many steroid injections, because there are some studies out there that suggest that steroid injections can start to deteriorate cartilage and tissues in the body. You'll get a different opinion based on what you read and where you read it, but it can cause damage. So there's always that as an option that's out there to talk to your orthopedic doctor about, or any doctor about. There are pain medications, which I personally would discourage you from doing. The opiate-like pain medications in particular, I would discourage you from doing. I do not believe are very effective, but they are very effective at becoming addictive and your body relying on them. And they don't necessarily help the problem at all. They just kind of trick your brain into thinking the problem is less than what it is, in a way. I seriously don't think they're worth it, and they're way too prescribed in our country, the United States. And they are a way, though. I mean, if you're in desperate need and this is a road you need to go down, then definitely talk to your doctor about those too. But to me, that's a last resort type of thing. There's also an oral steroid, one called methylprednisolone. That one's a very common oral steroid, which is given to you, and it kind of whole body inflammation control. That can be a tool as well. So those are a couple of the minimally invasive but medically based treatments. Now, as far as more holistic approaches go, first and foremost is diet. And I talked about this on my previous video. We, in our current society, eat so much inflammatory food. If you go out to any restaurant, it's laden with preservatives and sugar and heavily processed sugar, high fructose corn syrup solids. These are all inflammatory agents. They cause inflammation throughout the body. Nobody digests them terribly well. We've had them for so long that we're accustomed to it, so we don't think it's fine. But really, overall, it's pretty harmful because it's causing inflammation. The three big categories that I suggest people avoid are gluten, dairy, and processed sugars. I wouldn't say one is worse than the other. They all can affect people differently. People will hear this and say, well, I know I'm not gluten intolerant. I don't have celiac or anything like that. I'm not gluten intolerant. It is my belief that we are all to a level gluten intolerant. We just have gotten used to eating it, and we basically just don't realize the damage it's doing. And you don't find out until you get off that stuff for like 3 months and you start eating really clean, and you feel tremendous differences. I'm a huge advocate of cleaning up a diet, cutting out all those inflammatory foods, and I think that can be amazing with what it can do for pain management of the body. Alternative to this is, even when you don't feel good, doing some form of exercise. So exercise itself, when you start doing a form of exercise, your body produces endorphins, which are a chemical that naturally masks pain a little bit. It's actually why some people can work out and you're damaging your muscles, but you're not really hurting. It's because your body's producing endorphins, which can help mood, and they can help physically how you feel. And long-term exercise produces all kinds of things. They can help with the dopaminergic response. They can produce oxytocin. They can help your serotonin levels. Exercise is such a critical thing for us humans, and we've become so sedentary that we've just lost sight of some of the most important things. And I understand that your pain can be so bad sometimes that exercise doesn't feel like something you want to do. But even if you're needing to use a walker or a cane, walking around more than you usually do. If you can get outside for a little bit, get some fresh air, do a slow-paced walk, things like that. Exercise, that's exercise. That's still exercise. Exercise is not just getting on equipment or lifting weights or things like that. Exercise is some form of getting your cardiovascular system activated so you can get some of those benefits. So that's another way that you can take care of things when pain gets involved. And as far as a third option, and this is another great one for me, is healthy dietary supplementation. Some examples that I would provide here are turmeric is a great supplement you can take. The extract of turmeric is curcumin, and it has been widely studied to help inflammatory responses in the body. Capsaicin, or some things that actually come from hot foods, are also proven to help mitigate inflammatory responses in the body. Proteolytic enzymes. Do a little research on proteolytic enzymes. They are biologic enzymes that you can get in supplements that actually target inflammatory agents in the body, and they can kind of help break that down and help you get over some of your pain that way. And then it's always a safe bet to supplement with some core things like vitamin C, vitamin D, omega-3 fatty acids. Another great thing to supplement that can help with overall body health, that can help with inflammatory response. And they help in different ways, and it would probably be easier for me to do a video on one product and explain its functionability than try to explain it during this video. But because I saw the question, I thought it was a great opportunity to share some of these details. I'd be really curious to know what any of you guys are doing to help control your pain levels, because pain sucks. It'll suck the life out of you. It sucks your energy. It sucks your positivity and motivation. And I think chronic pain, are so horrendous. And I wish there could be better solutions consistently for that kind of stuff, because living it daily, like a lot of you do, it can stop you dead in your tracks, and it makes it hard to be hopeful of the future and the next day. And that's a whole different category. We need hope and motivation, and we need to feel like the next day has something good to bring us. So I think there's ways of doing it, and I think there's ways of getting over a lot of the different ways that we feel pain and arthritis symptoms. There's a lot of ways to take care of it, both medically and holistically. Of course, I'm going to encourage anyone to do it holistically as much as possible, because that's still, I think, a much better way than having chemical treatments to the body. But anyways, if you've dealt with these, if you have your own ideas on how you treat these problems and symptoms, drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear from it. I'll respond to you, and we can have a conversation, because I'd love to hear about it. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on the future videos that are coming. And reach out with any questions you may have. And I look forward to talking to you guys next time.